Hi everyone, my name is Nitin. I am a system solution architect, and today I am going to give you a quick demo of how to run and debug a Bun process locally in Windows using WSL2, which is Windows Subsystem Linux. So to start with, what you need is, first of all, you need to install WSL2, right? And there are plenty of videos on the YouTube how to install it, so I'm not going to deep dive into that. But once you have it installed, you can just run this bash command and you will get a prompt like this. And in case if you don't know how to install bash or that WSL2 system, I will try to link some of those videos into my description so that you can refer to those videos and continue with those installations. Once you have your WSL2 installed and get into this prompt, the next thing you want to ensure is that you have Bun installed. So to do that, you can use this curl command over here. It's pretty simple. Even if I have it installed, I can reinstall it. It won't harm in any way. And just to show you how it looks like, right? So you can see now Bun is installed, which is good. And if I put Bun command over here, you are getting some options. So Bun is now set up. And because I am already in the right directory, so I can just initiate a new project. To initiate a new project, what you have to do is you have to say Bun and init. And then it will prompt you for some options. You can go with the default ones. For example, package name, let it be same as folder name, index.ts file, all good. And you can see now these files have got created automatically. So it's good. I can just simply now start this particular folder in VS Code. But make sure you're launching your VS Code from this bash prompt, because you want to make sure behind the scene when you're running things on the Visual Studio Code, it's using your bash system as a baseline, not your Windows OS, as Bun is not available on Windows as of today. And you cannot just run a Bun process directly on the Windows. So to do so, you just say code and dot. In case if it's for the very first time you're running this command, it may take a while just to download the VS Code setup for the bash WSL2 system, right? And just to set it up and align it with the Windows system as well. But because I already run it, so I can just simply go with that. It will open this window and you can see this is all set for me, right? Like it's just ready to start with. And it's a very simple code right now, console.log hello via Bun. So if I want to run it, first of all, I want to make sure I have the right plugin installed. So to do so, go into extension and type Bun over here. You may find other plugins as well, which are not the official plugins. For example, I found this one Pandy something like, but it's not the official version actually, right? And I don't want to use it. So you need to go to the right version, which is this one, Bun for Visual Studio Code, and install it. As I already installed it, so you're good to go and just run this product. Before running, make sure you also have the launch.json configured correctly, right? So they already provided a sample of it. So I will just copy it, and what I'll do, go into this run and debug, say create launch.json file. Yeah, I want it for Bun. And it automatically create one for you, but it's better to override it with the one which was provided in the documentation. So once it's done, a minimal changes you have to do into this file to make sure your code is going to run, because I'll show you like what happens if you just don't make those changes, right? So there are two parts of it. Let's say I just want to run it in the debug mode, right? So I'll go with this debug Bun option, because this is what it, this particular command will launch the process. So if I run it, let's see what happens. So if I go into debug console, you will find this thing, failed to start debugger. Program must be a JavaScript or TypeScript file, because this $file variable is not resolved. And if I put code here, like I'm going to say console, my prompt on this and try to run it, then it's running because you're clicking on it. So in case if you don't want to select the file and then run this option, better to hard code this option in the launch.json, which is like this. Simply go and just say index.ts, so it will look into your root directory for this file, and if it's there, it will just run it. Now the next thing is to make sure it runs into the debugger mode. You have to attach a command called inspect. Actually, it's a parameter, right? You can see over in the documentation over here, it's saying go with this Bun inspect. So first of all, I'll show you manually like how it works. So if I say Bun inspect, and also what I'm going to do before running it, I'm going to change this code not into a simple console log program, but rather a web server. So I have a sample for it. Let me pull it from my other screen. So here it is. Yeah. So I'm going to start a Bun web server with HTTP GET API, which will just give you this hello bunny kind of prompt. And if I run it with bun inspect and pass this index.ts now, so you can see now my debugger is running, but still, if I open it, like let me open it in the browser, and I will try to place it over here, and let's see whether it's debugging or not. Actually, you will find it's not coming to this point, right? Because your debugger is started, but your IDE debugger is still not attached to that process, right? So you need to attach the IDE with that process, for which you have to launch the other target in this launch.json file, which is this bun attached thing, attached to bun. The problem here is every time you run this process, you will get a different unique URL, right? Because let me just show you. So I'm going to stop it and run it again. So you can see these two URLs are very different, right? Because every time you run, you will get a different URL. So just to make sure you get a static URL, what you can do is you can just copy this inspecting over here in the runtime arguments and pass a custom URL, just to make sure like it will be static always, irrespective of when you start it. So let's say I want to make this URL static, right? Which is a unique URL in my system. I just copied and pasted, and I need to actually remove this, not exactly like that. I need to copy this one actually. Yeah, I copied the wrong one. So let's go again and put it in. Yeah, you got the URL over here, right? Which is good. So next time, if I stop it again, and let me just clear it and run bun again from this ID, not from the command, right? So I will say debug run, which is the first target of this launch config. And here where you are just trying to launch it, and you already passed this argument now in the runtime args. So it will take this as an argument and try to start the debugger processor itself. And if I look into the console, you will find it. Yeah, this is the prompt, right? And you see now the kind of URL is there is static in nature, right? It's the same what I passed on to the runtime argument. So this is what we wanted. Now to make sure that you can attach your ID to this process, you have to pass the exact same URL to the other target. So I'm going to override it with that optional configuration again, right? And once I got it set up, the next thing I can do is I can say run attached to bun. And you can see now both are running here. It got attached. So this time if I put a debugger here, or let's do the next line, and let's try to hit it again. Yeah, and you got the debug point over here active, right? You can see this local variables, the request which came in here. So let me override this particular variable just for the demo purpose. Last time you can see you got hello bunny. It's still it is still running over here, right? And what I'll do, I'll just say string equal to my name Nitin, or let's say just hello Nitin. And now if I let it go from here, yeah, you got the hello Nitin over here. That's what we wanted, right? So now debug is working, and that's the way you have to do. So if you want to stop the process now, you have to do it twice. First, because this attached to run is running, so let's disconnect it, and after that you have to stop this process like that. Same thing again. If you want to launch again, you go with this, like go with debug first, debug bun, and then attach to the bun. Right? So yeah, that's how it is. So thanks a lot, and let me review the quick steps what we followed today. So set up this thing into the Windows. First of all, you have to make sure that you have the Windows subsystem Linux installed, which is called WSL2. As I said, I will pass on some links into the description, like how to install it. If in case you don't know how to do, you can follow those videos and just set it up. Next thing, make sure bun is installed with this curl command, which I already showed you in the demo. Then make sure you have this IDE installed in the VS Code, and at the same time when you're launching this VS Code, it's better to launch it from your bash module so that you're getting that bun library available. Otherwise it will just say command not found. And last thing is you want to make sure you have the official bun plugin installed and with the custom launch.json. I'll also share all the code and this launch.json config itself on the GitHub so that you can refer it. So thanks a lot for watching my video. If you would like to discuss it further with me, you can book an appointment with me, and you can also support my channel. You like and share and subscribe it if you wanted to, so that I can continue making this kind of videos and you can refer it to in future. Thanks a lot. Have a good day. Bye.